Hello, my team fans. It's Loshbaum, and I'm back. My lineup is the same as the last video, but there is one small change. I've put a badge. It's the post-spin technician badge on Dr. J, Julius Erving. And I felt like that was a missing ingredient last game, and I was kind of surprised. I thought he came with that badge stock, and went back and checked and found out he didn't have that badge. And I'm very accustomed to using it with Dominique Wilkins. I'll put him in the low post and then just get that really quick spin off and drive to the hoop. And a lot of times it results in a dunk. And I feel like that's the way I can get a lot of free points with Dr. J. And in my last game, I tried that move with him several times and it got stopped every time. So here's some evidence of the change. He'll do that quick spin and then 1-2 steps and he's taking it to the rack and one. And you can tell that that badge makes all the difference in the world. In previous games, he was just getting stopped in that move every single time. And the lineup that my opponent's using isn't that great, but I'll show you at the end the stats that Steven Jackson has, who Dr. J is going up against. And you can see Dr. J, everybody's going to be focusing on his offense and his godly stats, but his defense is just insane. It's where it's at. Now, a lot of the players that I use in my team, I don't really judge them based on how they play offense and how they can do one-on-one scoring. I actually judge them on how they can score without the ball or what they can do without the ball on defense. So if, for example, Diamond Dennis Rodman, you can never give that guy the ball, but he's going to get you a couple points a game, maybe a couple buckets, or get to the line, and he's going to get you some turnovers. So he's already making points by just not doing anything. And I think with Dr. J, he really carries his weight on defense. So you never even need to take a shot with him, and he's still a player that's going to be a net positive just by being on the court. Now, I've tried a few of these behind the back post spins this game, and they've been working out really well with Dr. J. So I'm happy I added that badge. Here's one of my favorite, the inbound cut. For whatever reason, Dr. J seems to be the guy that's getting called to inbound the ball a lot. And because of that, he's going to be set up perfectly for that cut to the hoop on the inbound. And you can see he just weaves through traffic. That behind the back dribble move is pretty sick for him. And in the few games that I've used Dr. J, I've been averaging something like in the low 20s with him. He's just scoring all the time. And that's my first three-pointer with him, wide open in the corner at screen. I bricked a few threes before that, and I had to practice with him in the practice mode and found out that he does have kind of a little bit of a longer release on the three ball. It's nothing that's like bad, like, you know, that it just, you can't use him because of that. One of the guys that I had was Oscar Robertson, and he has a great three-point rating, but I just couldn't shoot threes with him because by the time he got through his wind-up to take the shot, you know, the defense had closed out and it was a contested shot and it wasn't open anymore. Now, that's not the case for Dr. J. It's just a little bit longer than normal than somebody like Mitch Richmond, who's just got the greatest release in the game. So I'm going to try and stay away from shooting three-point shots, although it's very tempting given his rating, and stick with what he does really well, and that's just getting inside and getting points. And in another game I played with him, I actually got Dikembe Mutombo to foul out in the third quarter just by going straight into the lane every single time and drawing those fouls with Dr. J. And it's pretty wild to see how he can just take the game over with his driving ability. I've had the opportunity to talk to a few friends who have other players from this Beast collection, and I want Hakeem. I think he's a great player. Now, the price is just way up there, so whether I get him or not remains to be seen, and is probably going to be determined by future collections, because I don't see myself getting 500k MT anytime soon to do that. But Hakeem apparently is dominant in the post, but his jump shot, and I remember this from the times I've used him in years past, has just a little bit of a hitch. And I remember using him and just going to practice mode, and there's no, like, the shooting bar doesn't even marry up with his release. So if you're using that, you're always going to have a poor release. But it's a kind of a wind up, and then all of a sudden it's just like really quickly pops out. And for somebody with a 85 3-point rating and 90s mid-range and hot everywhere, you kind of expect a little bit better of a release. And I have David Robinson, and the great thing about him is he just does so well from the mid-range. So I'm on the fence with Hakeem, just given how expensive he is, and I'm not sure how much of an improvement he would be over David Robinson. He's free essentially. I've locked him in. I did that card collection, so there's no urgency to get that card. Now, another guy that I wasn't thinking about getting originally, but now I'm very interested in, is Kevin Garnett. And he is just like all over the place in terms of speed and agility. And he's got great post moves as well. And his shot does not stink. Like, he's got one of the best releases in the game. And I remember that Onyx from 2K15. It was awesome, and I ran with it a lot. Now, after this game, I had to double check and look what Steven Jackson's defensive ratings were. And they're actually pretty good. They're all low to mid 80s. So I don't feel too bad that I was so good with Dr. J. Got 32 points here, and he was doing it against a reasonable defender. So I am going to continue to look at either Hakeem or Kevin Garnett and build up some my team, and I look forward to bringing you gameplay with one of those guys soon.